Efforts to raise the minimum wage on Ohio ballots fell short this year, but the organizers pushing for higher wages are still fighting. Sophia Pericone joins us live in studio with those details. Sophia.
Well, One Fair Wage says they got enough signatures to meet Ohio ballot requirements, but they didn't meet the county requirement. They're trying again for next year's ballot, but the Ohio Restaurant and Hospitality Alliance is working to fight that.
A $15 minimum wage could be coming to Ohio.
Currently, it is 2 minimum wages. So we have the sub minimum wage for tipped workers, which is $5.25. And then we have the broader minimum wage, which is $10.45.
Mariah Ross with One Fair Wage says efforts to get an increased minimum wage on the 2024 ballot failed earlier this month. Although Ross says they collected more than the required over 413,000 signatures, they weren't getting them from at least 44 Ohio counties. They're trying again in 2025.
When you give people who make the least amount of money more money, they spend it on their families, on food, they spend it on something they've put off buying for a long time. It goes right back into the local economy. And then it trickles up.
But not everyone is on board with bringing up the wage. John Barker, the president and CEO of the Ohio Restaurant and Hospitality Alliance, says they've been working since late 2023 to fight an increase.
When you talk to the servers, 93% of them came back and said, we don't want that. And the average restaurant was telling us they would have to raise prices around 20 to 25%. That's on top of the inflation that we have right now.
He says a $15 minimum wage would actually cost servers money, taking away their tips.
Which is the opposite of sort of what you would think initially, right? Because you're talking about maybe setting a minimum wage, but you would be eliminating the whole tip credit, which really servers have done very well on it.
But according to One Fair Wage, tips are staying.
There's no sub minimum wage. There's no $5.25 plus tips. There's only 15 plus tips.
In Toledo, restaurant owner Michael Knight says, like himself, many people already start their staff above the current minimum and make increases for retention. But for smaller restaurants in Northwest Ohio, diners could feel a steady impact.
Their margins are thinner. You'd be looking at a price increase for them if they had to raise everyone's wages by $2 or $3, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if you break it down 7 days a week, 2 or 3 shifts, all of a sudden, that adds up.
Barker told me the entire Alliance board is against this effort and will continue to campaign against it, even if it does land on the ballot next year. Ross says One Fair Wage is about to ramp up efforts for signatures. They plan to post up at our local libraries here in Northwest Ohio to continue their fight. In studio, Sophia Pericone, WTOL 11.